So I just wanted to share some thoughts on race relations. And it seems to me, and it seems to a lot of people, that race relations are getting worse. Race relations in the United States, specifically. And I wanted to think on that and share my thoughts. So I think friendship is being comfortable with someone. If someone that you consider is your friend is someone that you have to be able to feel comfortable with. You're not going to have a friendship with somebody who you are constantly feeling ill at ease and unable to just sort of like relax. Your friends are the people that when you're around you can more or less just sort of let it all hang out and chill. And for male friendships specifically, I can't talk as much about female friendships, but for male friendships, it's about doing activities. Men get together to do something, to watch a game, to go out to a pub together and hang out, or to play a game, a card game or something. So men get together, and then they also, it's a big part about male bonding, is trash talking, ball busting. Just if I think it comes from that men are always in competition for seeing who's higher on the male hierarchy, the male dominance hierarchy, like Jordan Peterson likes to call it. And so when men come together, especially young men, there's always this sort of competition in the air, right? Who's the top dog, sort of. And if you can just sort of give someone some shit, trash talk and ball, when you're playing a game, whatever, you're playing a fighting game or playing a sport or just watching a movie or something, if you can kind of give them a little shit, and then they don't get upset, instead they laugh and they give you a little shit back, then suddenly there's this like, okay, so I've already said something that could be offensive, and then you took it well, and then you said something to me, like that could be offensive or questioning my position in the male dominance hierarchy, and I didn't get upset about it. So now we can both just kind of relax, because that means that we've kind of said it. We've already gotten out of the way now that neither one of us are easily offended, and we can kind of just relax, and don't have to compete or whatever. And I think this is with the introduction of this sort of like hyper political correctness, people just don't feel comfortable around people who are too different from them, because they're worried that something they're going to say is going to trigger them, or they're microaggression, and they can't just relax. It's work. And so they would rather than just hang out with people who are similar to them, so that way they know kind of like what these people will and won't be offended by, and I think that plays a big role. So let's say hypothetically that at my place of work, I'm talking with my coworkers, and turns out he's also a UFC fan, as I like to watch the UFC. And we're talking, and he's interested in watching the Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather fight. And let's say this coworker's black. And so I say, hey man, do you want to come over and watch the fight with my friends and I? We're watching it later today, and yeah, feel free to come on by. So after we finish work, we're going to go over to hang out with my friends and watch the game, and being that I'm super into like healthy food or whatever, we go to the supermarket, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to get some fruit for the game because I don't want to eat just a bunch of junk food, I'm going to get some, you want to get some, maybe some apples, some watermelon. Oh wait, I'm not trying to say that, because you're black that you want to eat watermelon. Seriously, like I like to eat watermelon, and I'm not trying to like racially stereotype you or anything like that, Don't take offense. It's just weird, right? But then again, if I want to get some watermelon and then I don't say anything about it because, instead I go, let's get some chips, let's get some corn chips, some Doritos. I don't want watermelon. It also just feels weird to me because I want watermelon. And then we get back to my place, and before the game, we're all going to talk, and maybe I put on, some Snoop Dogg and the Chronic or whatever. And then, am I culturally appropriating? I'm listening to just some fun hangout music. Am I culturally appropriating his music? Oh, and then I'm like, oh, listen, I normally listen to Snoop Dogg. Like, I'm not trying to put it on just because you're here. And I'm not trying to pretend that, like, it's my culture or anything. I just appreciate the music. Like, how fucking weird is that? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do in that case, right? And then we're watching the fight, and personally, I'm rooting for Conor McGregor. So I like Conor. I don't think he's going to win, but I'm rooting for him. I hope that he does win. I don't really like Floyd Mayweather, but, I'm like, I don't like Floyd Mayweather. But it's not because he's black that I don't like him. It's just I don't like him because, he beat up some women, supposedly. But I'm not saying that all black people beat up women. I'm just, just to be clear, I'm just saying that he specifically, okay. Ugh. Do you think that friendship's going to work out? I think he's probably going to never want to come and hang out with us ever again, my black coworker. It's going to be way too creeped out for that, right? But after obviously I'd buy some watermelon, I'd put on some Snoop Dogg, and then I'd cheer Conor McGregor and wouldn't even think about the fact that this guy's black or not, and it wouldn't affect. And then there would be a level of comfort there, at least. He would just be like, yeah, this is just what they do. The group of friends here, and I'm just new, I'm coming in, and, and there would be no attempt to offend, and there would be no offense taken. And then, if we became better friends, rather than just friendly, but actual better friends, I would be able to go to the supermarket and be like, watermelon? I'm pretty sure you want some watermelon, right? Huh? Just joking around with him, and he could be like, yeah, well, how about instead of watching the game, we listen to NPR and eat mayo sandwiches? And then we could be like, so that would be, giving each other some shit, and then we know that, okay, so we got that out of the way, and now neither one of us are offended, and now we can just hang out like friends, rather than trying to worry about microaggressions or some shit like that. And then if we became even closer friends, really good friends, I could see the police drive by and be like, quick, duck. You know what I mean? They're coming for you. And obviously, it would have to be someone who had a sense of humor about that. And then he could make fun, of white guys having small dicks or something. And then if we got to that level, then he would be a really close friend. That's just kind of how guys are. That's just kind of the way guys relate. Maybe when you get older, it's less like that. But especially young guys, that's how it is. It's how they feel comfortable with each other. If they're playing a video game, a fighting video game, in a big group of friends like I used to do, and you're trash talking the person that you're beating, and it's just the way it's the way it is. And so I think this hyper PC thing is just people don't feel comfortable. Maybe they'll do it to virtue signal. They'll hang out, some progressive. They'll hang out with some Asians or some black people, but it's not really comfortable because they're constantly when they're just gonna chill and hang out and want to feel comfortable, people will end up hanging out with people that are like them. White people hanging out with white people, black people hanging out with black people, because otherwise it's just not really comfortable, and that's a shame. It's really a shame, but that's how I see it, as this is being a block to race relations, to friendships. And this is why so many people, they might have a black colleague or an Asian colleague that they're friends with at work, but they don't really hang out with, in their private time, because it's work to try not to offend someone and to police your language and to, you know, if something is not meant to offend, it really shouldn't offend, you know? If someone the same thing could be said by two people, and one person could say it and want to offend somebody, and it would have this weight of offensiveness to it. And another person could say it in a joking way, and both people could laugh at it. It's really about the intent to offend rather than, you know, offense is taken, right? Sometimes it's intended, but it doesn't need to be taken. And that's just how I see it. And I hope that race relations between people get better. You know, like sometimes I'm in large groups of Thai people. Sometimes I'm in groups where I'm the only white person. It's not uncommon. And, you know, the way that's most comfortable is if the people in the group feel comfortable with me being the only non-Thai in the group and are able to tease me and joke with me. And then things get relaxed. Then people are like, okay, I'm one of the group. And so I think I've rambled on this long enough. But tell me what you think. I mean, is this true? Is this your experience as well, especially amongst men with their friends and women? How is it with female friendships? You know, is it different? Is there, you know, how do you bond and feel comfortable with a girlfriend of yours, you know? All right, well, thank you for listening. See you next time.